Hello, everybody. Welcome to Release Day, Hangout number one. Woo! This week it's Design Hangout, where we talk about design-related tasks. Of course, we have the release of Backdrop coming out later today. If history is any indicator, that will probably mean this evening. And the big thing today for those of us in this meeting is that we really are interested in focusing on the release and getting it out. But one of the main features about the new release is the new core theme basis that is going to be released. So as a major design element, we're going to use this meeting basically to use it as a hit list against basis, its status, and where we are getting it polished up and included for the release today. So the main issue for Basis is issue 1361. You can pull it up in the Backdrop issue queue. Right now it's still a meta. It has been marked as a pull request. It looks like people think that it's great. So task number one is probably going to be hitting the merge button on that one because it's ready. There are some follow-ups and some things to discuss in here. So we've got a number of follow-ups here in the agenda, some of which are obvious bugs that need completing, just some minor CSS tweaks, like the contextual links are sometimes kind of invisible because of the gray on blue background colors going on. That can be fixed. Yeah, we have a little CSS issue with the admin bar. If you have a status notification, it's funny, we actually did a bit of work to make the status notification perfectly round, and somehow the CSS in Basis is regressing that CSS problem, and now it's back to being egg-shaped again. But that only happens in Basis, not in 7. So as you switch between themes, the egg-shaped notifier turns back into circle-shaped notifier.
This again, Basis is overriding like all of Core's CSS, and we need to take out as much as possible. And I promised Wes I'd do a review of that, but I haven't gotten to it yet, so I'll do that later today.
Okay,
Actually,
excellent.
the issues with admin bar and probably the notification are just because I set some what I think are sane defaults on tags that show up in body text areas. So I think we removed everything that's massively overriding core.
Okay.
I think.
Why would this circle icon be in a text area?
No, I'm saying like it might be using an LI or something. And so my baseline styles for an LI.
Oh, you don't mean text area, the HTML element. You mean an area where there is text. Right.
Right. I set baseline styles for like every HTML tag that might show up in a body field, and sometimes it affects things
that are not in a body field.
Yes.
Okay. Huh. I wonder if we should remove that, or if we should limit it to body. Will it break everything?
Yeah. Well, like our styles for our specific widget should be opinionated enough to override that, because it's like that stuff is the lowest specificity. Like, we just have to make sure that, because like if that breaks it, then other things are going to break it too. I think that's just fragileness of some of our stuff that we need to fix, and not a basis problem.
Okay. Because it's something every theme is likely to do, and so if it doesn't work for this, it's not going to work. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, I agree. We have a hilarious issue that we've created, 2182, which is make drop smaller issue. We think that our logo might be too big. Which is funny because I really wanted to have an issue that said make my logo bigger, but there's actually a real issue there that's drop in the footer. If you put another block above the powered by block, then drop starts to because he has a negative margin, he like drifts above and can overlap content that is in the previous block. So I think the most logical thing to do is just to use now that I think about it, it might be a little bit more tricky, but use some kind of sibling selector or something like that to disable the background image if drop is next to another block or is after. If the powered by block is after another one, then remove the background image. Something like that. I think that actually is possible. I'll leave that to... Okay. Yeah. Leave that to you guys. Let's see. Add opacity. So yeah, this is issue 2160 is related to drop-down menus. But I actually think, so Klonos is nice enough to post a screenshot. I actually think this is a CSS-related request in not Basis, but in Bartik. Because I did the CSS for the drop-downs for Bartik, and I really just kind of did a bare minimal drop-down thing to make it so that it wouldn't look bad. But it doesn't look bad, but it also doesn't work real great with the CSS that I've done because I didn't fully accommodate for things like the hover link and the active style and stuff like that. So it might not hurt to double check that we don't have the same issue in Basis, but I don't think we do.
I did a very thorough styling, so I think we should be good in Basis.
Yeah, let me see. Oh no, there is actually still an issue, I think. Oh no, no. No, it's fine. You did a great job, Wes. I also kind of found that just opinion-wise, the navigation, like the backgrounds, and well, honestly, like the entire links are much larger than obviously Bartik, but we'll say than most Drupal themes that are out there. But I actually feel it's not. I actually feel it's just kind of with the times, you know. Like when I first dealt with it, I was like, this drop down is freaking huge because the sub items are just as large as the parent items, but it's actually just kind of the way the web is today. So
it's good for those large fingers.
Yeah, Jen, what do you do? Oh, for fingers. Yeah, I see what you're trying to imply. Yeah, I think it looks great. That's all I was getting at there. I guess I just wanted to express an opinion. Is the margin, I think we have an issue for this too, the margin between the hero and the header, is that intentional or?
No. So in a perfect world, I'd get rid of it. What I've done is I've said the header should always push things down a little bit. And I was trying to think if I could figure out a way to say, or maybe I'll just target a couple layouts. But if the hero is the first item in this region, then collapse that margin. I just didn't want to make assumptions to get the initial appearance we want that would mess someone up who actually builds a full featured site on it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I noticed the margin shows up around the messages too. So if you do target that region, make sure that it doesn't like hide the messages or something if there a message goes up there. Yeah, that looks tricky. I was like, I don't know how to get rid of that.
Right. It'd be nice if there was like a hero region and I could just make all sorts of assumptions. But that is not the case.
Yeah.
I think that's what the top region's for, in theory. Like why we put a top region above content and below header.
In the same region as the content?
No. So there's content and there's top and there's bottom.
Not in the default homepage layout.
In every layout, there's a top. Usually has breadcrumbs in it.
I'm looking at the markup from my clean site, and it's definitely showing content having block hero. unless that's changed in the last couple days.
So the hero block might be actually placed into that region, but there is a region in all layouts called top.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Well,
is.
maybe we use that.
Yeah, we could move it.
And
I think that would make sense if we change the theme to change which region we put the thing in.
we could also, I don't know if this is too far, but say that the top region is fluid by default, meaning full width hero.
Yeah, that would solve that problem too.
Interesting. What about the breadcrumb? It's also in top.
We could move it into content.
I guess we could.
You don't need
because
the
we are
breadcrumb on the
talking
homepage.
about we're talking about the default out of box
Oh, right.
experience that everybody's going to get, but existing sites that are out there won't be affected by any of these changes. Like the breadcrumb will stay where the breadcrumb is in 1.5 for people that are running, or sorry, 1.4 for people that are running 1.4 sites when they upgrade. So nothing will happen to any website that upgrades, or should happen. But we could make basis have the top region be fluid, but it would be fixed for everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that also involve overwriting all of those core templates again to make it that?
No, I think we can just make it a CSS override. It's just max width, setting that to a gajillion. A scientific number.
Huh. Yeah, that seems like that's... Yeah, because the container is inside, and we would just basically say... Actually, we could even just override container for the top region and just say, exactly, no max width at all. And that would just...
I might have put a swear word in a console.log that might have gotten merged. I'm sorry.
All right, Wes, your first job is to search for swear words and remove them.
All right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that would be unprofessional. It is already part of history, though, so I'm sorry, Wes. It'll just
Also
be there.
hilarious, though.
Well, it's in the 1.x-basis branch, so.
All right, we could
Rebase that out.
still fix it. We could still fix it. Okay.
This is why we need to squash our merges.
Yep. There you go.
Fine, we can rebate.
What do you guys think about Jen? Did you file an issue for making default content?
There already was one, and Doc Wilmot found it and started working on it.
Okay, that is excellent.
Yeah.
So I mentioned last night, Basis looks a lot better with a piece of content in it than it does without a piece of content in it. And so I would love it if we included, like we have been talking about since the beginning of Backdrop, a demo piece of content like Node 1, and promoted it to the homepage so that the homepage actually had a piece of content on it.
He's actually making two. He's making a page. Node 1 would be an about page, so he can put it in the menu. And then he's also making a post, which will show up on the homepage.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Then we'll have 2 pages in the flippin' navigation. Okay, yeah. And I'm also a proponent. Jen, thank you for making an issue for potentially removing the RSS icon out of the default homepage, because it's not the year 2000 anymore. We can leave the RSS meta tag so that if you have a browser that says, hey, there's an RSS version of this page, that you can use it, or a browser plugin. If you use RSS feeds, they usually pick those up as well. Actually providing an on-page link to the RSS icon is not common. Maybe common if you also grouped it with social icons, but just standing all alone like this, it just looks a little bit on the silly side. Yeah, checkbox for default content. I don't know. Yeah, I think Jen's kind of got the right answer there. That it's in the standard profile, although we don't have any other profiles that are out of the box that are visible. You can use the minimal profile if you type that into the URL profile equals minimal. But yeah, I think Jen's right on that fewer questions is better. And we actually have some other issues to actually remove more questions out of the installer because a lot of things don't really make sense. Yeah, and actually, Node 1, in my experience, is almost always the About page anyway. I always get a little bit nervous about making Node 1 because I'm like, oh my god, it's going to be Node 1. And if I don't make it the About page, then sometimes I am disappointed in myself. So I don't know. It takes the pressure off of creating your first piece of content because nobody's going to go look at Node 3 and see what the hell Node 3 was. Okay. I don't have anything else. That was the purpose of this meeting, was to just run over the basis hit list. I think we've got a kind of good idea with the let's move the hero into top and make top 100%. I'm not sure what we'll do about the breadcrumb that is also up there. Oh, that's right. We can move it into content. Yeah. You know, we haven't ever brought this up, but on pages that do have a breadcrumb, the breadcrumb is kind of it's not ideally placed. I know it didn't match the mockups, and that's because tabs are hard coded in the layouts, but breadcrumbs are not. And so the mockups had the breadcrumb above. Here, why don't I share my screen? This one, please. Here we go. This problem. So we have this tab, and then we immediately have like a breadcrumb directly below it, which is a little bit on the weird side. And the mockups.
Your recursion problem was really horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you clear something that's not the?
I'm sorry. I meant to be presenting the desktop. Here we go. Sorry. This is what I meant to show.
Yay!
Hey guys, I'd just love to voice my support for not having anything hard-coded in the templates, just because, like, you know, the layout system does work so well that it's so easy to move stuff around that it almost seems ridiculous not to allow people to do that because, you know, layouts and that flexibility is our big selling point. So anything that hampers it, like having hard-coded things are.
We do have one issue. Like the last thing that is hard-coded into the template is this title tabs, title local navigation in breadcrumb, or not breadcrumb, whatever. There's like three things. I think it's like the title, the contextual links, and the menu local tasks. And there is an issue to move all of those into a block, so you can move them around too. But the problem is we can't do that in the 1.x cycle because it'll break all of the current templates. But I think it's definitely like high priority for 2, because one of the things I've noticed is like sometimes you only have to override a layout because you need to move the title or the tabs or something silly, and it's super frustrating that that's the reason you need to change the layout. Nothing else in the layout is actually different.
Well, is there a way? Could we add an option to hide the embedded things and then add the ability to place, like we can create the blocks to place them now, and then maybe somehow figure out how to squash the embedded thing with an option.
Yeah, you know what would be totally logical would be if you place the blocks, the variable in the template would just go away, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that'd be great. We should create some sort of issue for that.
There is an issue somewhere.
For that specific solution.
Well, I don't know.
We should update that issue with that great solution that
we should.
We just came up with.
That's awesome. Good idea, everybody. Let's see.
Woo!
I'll find it.
Yeah, because then we can move the local tasks. If we started just with the tabs, then we could move them below the breadcrumb, and that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But probably not going to happen today, I'm afraid to say.
No, but that's okay. We can do it soon-ish.
Okay. Great. Okay. Do you have anything else that we would like to discuss?
Do we have issues for, like, I noticed there's a bulleted list in this agenda, but I can't find any mention of any of these things anywhere else.
That's
How
yeah.
are we actually managing work on basis?
I never actually made a like a meta, or as I was trying out yesterday, we can use GitHub's new projects to group issues that it might be a replacement for metas, but yeah. So for now, what I've been doing is just tagging it as 1.50, and that's good enough because there's only like 6 issues in there, or there were yesterday. There's probably more like 10 now, and then we can just use the 1.5 milestone.
But I think some of these issues might be coming from people that aren't you, because there aren't issues. Everything that was in that milestone is already linked in here, and the majority of the issues in this list don't have. I don't think they have issues, or the issues are not appropriately tagged.
Yeah, this
So,
one.
like the contextual links one, it doesn't have an issue yet.
Nope. It's
What
just
about
mentioned in the
what about the dragon overlapping footer blocks?
Nope, that's also just mentioned in the main issue.
Okay, so maybe what I should do is go through the main issue and make issues that we can actually track as getting done or not, because I don't think anyone's going to use this Google Doc.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no, that's a great idea.
Okay.
And then because we'll close out the meta or the big issue
major.
as soon as it's merged.
Okay. So should I create a meta, or should I just create a bunch of little ones and throw them in a project, and we can try that?
Just create a bunch of little ones and throw them into the 1.5 milestone.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, that's the plan. Yay! Great. I might go hit the merge button, and then we'll have it merged for the next meeting. Should be great. Oh, Wes, check for your curse word.
It's definitely in there. I was gonna fix a couple things if that's okay.
Okay. All right. I'll wait.
All right, and the top region and yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, we'll wait a little bit longer.
All right, cool.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you guys for joining. We'll have the regular dev meeting here in about half an hour. But until then, thanks again.
Cool. Talk to you guys in half an hour.
Hi, everyone.